My name is Jennifer. I was born in Euclid, Ohio. I lived in Ohio until I was about 10, and I moved with my mom and my stepfather to Florida, to St. Pete. My parents were divorced when I was 2, and I acquired 2 step-parents right after. My brother on my dad's side is no longer living. He committed suicide 5 years ago. But I lived in St. Petersburg until I was about 15, 16. And then I had some trouble. I had something happen to me when I was 14. I was molested by a family member. I sought out attention from men, ironically, after what happened to me. I fell into a serious drinking problem very heavily when I was 14, 15 years old, and it just got worse. I thought that moving back to Ohio to live with my dad would make things better, but when you're trying to cover up pain with substance, and I didn't know that's what I was doing at that time, but I do know that now from everything I've learned. But geographical location doesn't really change things, so it got worse for me. I fell into heavy drinking, skipping school. I got into harder things. I got pregnant in high school, and that was when I had my first abortion. My parents really wanted me to, so I did. I moved out of my house when the day I turned 18. I got into some relationships with men a lot older than me. I actually got into a relationship with a man that was a good man. We both had our issues though, with addiction and drinking, but we had a beautiful son. And some things happened. My addiction continued to get worse. I wanted so badly to be a good mother, and the chains of addiction were just so strong. And I lost my son and his father because of a very serious incident, and that's when my life took a turn for the worst. Every time I thought just running away would help, but it didn't. I continued to think that if I could just find the right man, that everything will be better. But I continued to get into these unhealthy relationships, and I continued to be an addict and an alcoholic. And as my life got harder, the drugs got harder. I did some things I'm not proud of. I've been arrested several times, and every single time I've been arrested has had to do with drugs and alcohol. I was completely lost. I hated myself, and I blamed everybody else for my life being wrong. I had another child throughout that time, and I lost that child also. Those 2 things are probably the most painful thing I've ever been through in my life, was losing my children. And I've had 2 other opportunities to be a mom, but because it was with the wrong person, and because of outside influence and my own selfishness and my own fear, I aborted those 2 children also. I can remember in the darkest time in my life, that one of the darkest times, I lived for nothing but drugs. I lived in a hotel room, bathroom, praying for God to please take my life. I prayed to overdose and die, and I never did. I never did, and I know that's for a reason now. The absolute darkest time of my life was 2.5 years ago, I think now. That was the darkest point of my addiction. I was in the worst relationship I've ever been in my life, and I was in it for 5 years. And I thought I was going to lose my mind. I got really heavily into methamphetamine, and I left him to go live in the woods. I was killing myself. I knew that I was killing myself, and I knew that I couldn't stop. I knew that nothing short of a miracle was going to get me to stop, and I knew I was going to die that way. And I don't know that I cared. I think a small part of me cared, but there was nothing I could do about it. And it took divine intervention, and it was divine intervention, to pull me out of that situation. It took me being arrested for an assault charge and being taken to jail. And it's not the first time, but this time was so different for me. On the way to jail, the Marion County Sheriff that took me there, I was a mess. He talked to me about God. And I was like, I don't want to hear this right now. Like, I do not want to hear this. And I listened to him though, and I did. And I remember God speaking to me in jail, not like that audible voice or anything, but I picked up this little pamphlet, and I just remember reading through it, and something just jumped off the page at me, and it said, it's not going to be quick and it's not going to be painless. And I knew that was God talking to me, and I knew what I had to do. I knew that the pain of staying the same had surpassed the pain of change. I spent 180 days in there, reading my Bible and praying, and then I went to the Ruth House. Well, I knew before I got there that I wanted to be baptized already. I knew I wanted to go to a faith-based program because of finding God in there. So it was just like everything fell into place once I got there. What really happened was my relationship with God just strengthened and got deeper and deeper. I've never known anything like what I have right now. I start my day with him and I end my day with him, and it's so beautiful to me because I have redeeming love. I can't explain it. I do have this peace that surpasses all understanding. It's something that I never thought possible. It's, like I used to listen to these people that would tell me about this like warming sensation and this feeling they would get when they accepted Jesus in their heart, and I'd be like, whatever, like, come on, that doesn't really happen. But I've had God speak to me a few times through the word, and it does feel like that. I mean, it's not like this huge thing, that I can say. I don't know, it's just certain things. He speaks to me subtly, and I know when it is, and I just love it. And I always write it down so I can always remember. And just being in the word is something that I have a thirst for, and I want to do something with that. I mean, I want to help other people. God uses his broken children to help his other broken children, and I want to be that vessel to do those things.